We are hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. Mother Devahuti expressed her humbleness that I am in Maya, how I can be rescued, to Supreme Lord Kapil Bhagavan. Then Kapil Bhagavan said that mind is the cause of bondage, mind is the cause of emancipation. Our Gurudev expressed like this, he said not body, but mind. Here body means both, gross and subtle body. They are not the cause. Cause is consciousness or mind means Atma. When Atma, soul, is attached to Triguna, this material energy, then she is in bondage. And when mind is attached to Nirguna, Bhagavan, then he is liberated. Depends on our attachment. Then Mother Devahuti said, what is Triguna in concrete form? Then he said this body and bodily relations. And Nirguna is Supreme Lord, because he's beyond these three gunas, transcendental, supreme person, unlimited. Then she asked how I can get attachment to him. He's not speaking. We know all these are temporary relations, but we become attached to them because we are speaking with them, living with them, everything, but Supreme Lord is not speaking with us. Then Kapil Bhagavan said, yes, that is true, so you have to associate and become attached to sadhu, pure devotee. That will open the door to liberation, because from sadhu we will get devotion. By devotion we can have contact with Supreme Lord. And sadhu is speaking, we can see sadhu, we can feed sadhu, we can accept from sadhu, so we can become attached. Loving relation with sadhu we can have by giving what he requires for his service of Krishna, and accepting from him prasad, those items which we gave. He will give them prasad, he will offer to Krishna and will give prasad, cloth, everything, not only food, everything. Or our money can be used in the service of Krishna, like for building temples or for different kinds of services. That attachment, that poison will be removed, our Gurudev explained. All those material articles, if we are taking for self-enjoyment, then they are poisonous. But if we give to sadhu, then he will offer to Supreme Lord and give us prasad, then that poison will not be there. It will be nectar. Then we have to feed the sadhu prasad and accept prasad from him, and we have to open our heart to him. What kind of difficulties I have, I'm proud, I have lust, anger, all this we have to openly say to sadhu, not to other persons, because then they will cheat you. But to sadhu, we have to open our heart sincerely. What are my drawbacks? And ask how I can be rescued. And when we will open our heart to sadhu, then sadhu will also open his heart, and he will speak about worship of Krishna, his realizations, and about the secrets of bhajan. If we open, then he will also open. So in these 6 ways, as Rupa Goswami taught, we have to associate with sadhu. Then that will give devotion to Krishna. And then again, Mother Devahuti asked, who is a sadhu? How I can recognize who is a sadhu? Then Kapil Bhagavan first said, accompanying qualities, those qualities which accompany original quality. And he said, original quality is has one pointed exclusive devotion to me. And he gives up all material connections, material vision, for my sake. And he's always hearing about me and always speaking about me, always remembering me, and because of that, remembrance of me means always absorbed in me, he does not feel any material miseries. Tritap, he does not feel. And accompanying qualities are, he is always tolerant, he is compassionate, Sohriya Sarvadehinam, he is friendly to all living entities because he sees we are all same family. We all belong to Supreme Lord, same. And Ajata Shatru, he does not see anyone as his enemy. And Shanta, he is always peaceful. Let me see any more. Sadhava, yes, he is always saintly conduct, that which is prescribed by scriptures. No sinful activities, only proper activities for the satisfaction of Krishna. These are accompanying qualities. Original is this one, exclusive one-pointed devotion. And taking full shelter of me, he is always immersed in hearing and chanting and remembering about me. And because of that, he is not feeling any material miseries. And yesterday we heard, oh my mother, oh virtuous lady, these are the qualities of great devotees who are free from all attachment. You must seek attachment to such holy men, for this counteracts the pernicious effects of material attachment. We have to be attached, always. But we can choose to whom to be attached. If we are to Maya, we are in bondage. If we are to Krishna and his devotees, then we are in liberation. If we don't want to serve Krishna, we will serve Maya. You cannot stay idle. Then this very famous verse, Satang Prasangan Mama Virya Samvido Bhavanti Hrit Karna Rasayana Kata Tajoshanat Ashwapavarga Vartmani Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukramishati. In the association of pure devotees, discussions of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed, and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. Here Sai Maharaj is translating in this way. Shraddha, first one will get Shraddha, firm faith in Krishna. Then Rati, that is Bhava. And Bhaktir means Prema Bhakti. So gradually, by hearing Harikatha, yes, his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. Here also, commentators, they say, devotees, Satam Prasanga Mama Virya Samvido. Virya Samvido is what some explain as heroic activities of Krishna, how he's doing as a hero. And another explanation is Virya Samvido, that his Harikatha Samvido, his activities, Samvidah means by discussion, Mama Virya Samvido, that discussion of Krishna is very potent, which is coming from the mouth of sadhu. All these different kinds of explanations are possible. I especially like this explanation, that what pure devotee sadhu speaks Harikatha, that is very potent thing. It will liberate you and give you devotion. Another is like heroic activities of Krishna, discussion about heroic activities of Krishna. Here Sai Maharaj in word by word translation, he's saying wonderful activities of Krishna, Virya Samvido. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation and thereafter he is freed. This Hrit Karna Rasayana. Rasayana means tonic in Ayurveda, tonic to give you life, to improve your health. So this is also tonic to improve or to increase our devotion, that is actual life. Here in commentary, the process of advancing in Krishna consciousness and devotional service is described here. The first point is that one must seek the association of persons who are Krishna conscious and who engage in devotional service. Without such association, one cannot make advancement. Simply by theoretical knowledge or study, one cannot make any appreciable advancement. One must give up the association of materialistic persons and seek the association of devotees, because without the association of devotees, one cannot understand the activities of the Lord. Because from devotees you will get devotion, and only by devotion you can understand. Hiranyakashipu directly saw Nrsimha Bhagavan. Even Nrsimha Bhagavan appeared wonderfully from pillar, not from any mother and father, wonderfully. Still he could not understand. Though seeing him, but with eyes of lust, could not recognize him. And he thought, I will fight with him, I will kill him. Some strange creature. But Prahlad, he was seeing same Nrsimha Bhagavan, but with the eyes of devotion. So he understood his Supreme Lord. So because without, here Saimar is sharing, because without the association, one cannot understand the activities of the Lord. Generally, people are convinced of the impersonal feature of the Absolute Truth. Because they do not associate with devotees, they cannot understand that the absolute truth can be a person and have personal activities. Once I remember we had one program here in Ljubljana. I think Sridhar Maharaj and Nishkinchan Maharaj were here a long time ago, and one lady who was working at that time with Boshuda, I think, yes. So Boshuda invited her, and she liked hearing, but she was Mayavadi, connected with that Samarpan Swami, who also later came. She was organizing his programs here in Slovenia, pure Mayavadi. So she also at the end, she asked me, so you think that supreme reality like God, he's a person? Then I said, yes, he's a person. And it was like a painful to hear for her. Like how you can be so foolish, how you can think like this, that supreme can be person, because their understanding is person means something limited, and they're convinced that ultimate reality must be unlimited. So if you say he's a person, immediately you limit him. So why you are so ignorant of the truth? It was like a pain to her to hear, yes, he's a person. Of course, I'm not having direct realization of Krishna, so maybe my conception was wrong, but our Gurudev explained that he's person, but unlimited person, or person infinite. There is no limitation. But realized soul is necessary to convince such persons about supreme reality as a person. Here, Sai Maharaj saying they cannot understand that the absolute truth can be a person and have personal activities. And those personal activities are not like ours. That is lila, ours is karma. This is a very difficult subject matter, and unless one has personal understanding of the absolute truth, there is no meaning to devotion. Devotion can be actually only to Bhagavan. Mayavadis also, they do some devotion, but that is not actual devotion. That is for the sake of like purifying yourself, not actually to satisfy the object of devotion, but for your own purpose, to purify. And like imaginary, any deity you can have no problem. Only you have to channelize your emotion and purify so that you become qualified. But actual devotion, for actual devotion to exist, there must be a person who is object of devotion. Devotee will try to satisfy him, then that will be devotion. So there must be something to be, or someone to be satisfied. But for them, they don't accept as a person, so their devotion also is not actual devotion. Service or devotion cannot be offered to anything impersonal. Service must be offered to a person. Non-devotees cannot appreciate Krishna consciousness by reading the SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM or any other Vedic literature wherein the activities of the Lord are described. They think that these activities are fictional, manufactured stories, because spiritual life is not explained to them in the proper mood. Or some say that these all religions and all these stories are there, they're all fabricated, all produced, manufactured for the sake of encouraging morality in people. So Buddhists and like this, they think that is some kind of benefit in that. For morality, like Santa Claus, like is not real, but it is still said to the children, if you will be nice, then you will get good presents from Santa Claus. If you will be bad, then you will not get anything. So for the purpose of making that child good behavior, that is like manufactured. Kako je izmišljen. You make it up. You make that up for this purpose. So they say all religions are like that, made up for the sake.
Imaginary.
So
Imaginary.
It has some value, but not in ultimate sense, because ultimately you have to overcome those stories. As a child ultimately comes to know the truth, so also like that. So for them, personal God and religions, all these are all for like children-like things. But they don't know about Leela, transcendental Leela of Krishna and his creation like this, because no association with devotees. To understand the personal activities of the Lord, one has to seek the association of devotees, and by such association, when one contemplates and tries to understand the transcendental activities of the Lord, the path to liberation is open and he is freed. One who has firm faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes fixed, and his attraction for association with the Lord and the devotees increases. Association with devotees means association with the Lord. Yes. The devotee who makes this association develops the consciousness for rendering service to the Lord. And then, being situated in the transcendental position of devotional service, he gradually becomes perfect. Because we are unable to see Supreme Lord or recognize or exchange thoughts with him, because we are not on that level. For that reason, we have to take shelter of sadhu. Then by the media of sadhu, we can have contact with Supreme Lord. Bhaktya puman jata viraga aindriyat drishta shrutan mat racha nanu chintaya chitasya yato grahane yoga yukto yatishyate rijubhir yoga margai. Thus, consciously engaged in devotional service in the association of devotees, a person gains this taste for sense gratification, both in this world and in the next. Next means like heavenly planets. By constantly thinking about the activities of the Lord. Like during Kartik Brata, we are to hear constantly about activities of Supreme Lord in Golok Dham. This process of Krishna consciousness is the easiest process of mystic power when one is actually situated on that path of devotional service. He is able to control the mind. We are under the control of mind because of our aversion to Krishna. For that reason, our mind subdues us and then his enemy. But when we surrender to Krishna, by his grace, mind becomes subdued and his friend, because he assists in the service of Krishna. So that is possible by the process of Krishna consciousness. Asevayayam prakritir gunanam jnanena vairagya vijrimbhitena yogena mai arpitaya cha bhaktya mam pratyakatmanam ihava rundhe. Thus, by not engaging in the service of the modes of material nature, but by developing Krishna consciousness, knowledge in renunciation, and by practicing yoga, in which the mind is always fixed in devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one achieves my association in this very life. For I am the Supreme Personality, the Absolute Truth. Devotional service is linked to Him. So, how much one sincerely engages in the service of Krishna under the guidance of pure devotee, that much he is here and now in direct contact with Krishna. Here, Pratyak Atmanam. One is Parak, one is Pratyak. Devahutir Uvach. Kachit Tvai Uchita Bhakti Kidrishi Mama Gochara Yaya Padamte Nirvanam Anja San Vaishnava Aham. On hearing this statement of the Lord, Devahuti inquired, what kind of devotional service is worth developing and practicing to help me easily and immediately attain the service of your lotus feet? Yo yogo bhagavat nirvanatmam stvayoditaha kidrisha kati changani yatas tattva va bodhanam. The mystic yoga system, as you have explained, aims at the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is meant for completely ending material existence. Please let me know the nature of that yoga system. How many ways are there by which one can understand in truth that sublime yoga? Tat etan me vijanihi yataham mandadhir hare sukham buddhyeya durbodham yosha bhavat anugrahat. My dear son Kapila, after all, I am a woman. It is very difficult for me to understand the absolute truth because my intelligence is not very great. But if you will kindly explain it to me, even though I am not very intelligent, I can understand it and thereby feel transcendental happiness. So here we see, she's telling, I am a woman and therefore less intelligent, but that is no any obstacle for getting the highest benefit. So this should not be used. A woman is low, less intelligent should not be used to belittle someone or to criticize some ladies or to oppress or like this. No. Here it is directly said that that is true, but if you will kindly explain it to me, means Bhagavan or bona fide Guru, realized soul, they will know how to explain it, that it can be understood and it can be practiced, and by practicing one will get ultimate goal of life. So there is no discrimination here in relation to Bhakti Yoga process, which will give everyone ultimate highest goal. So why this sort of discrimination is there? It is not founded, not appropriate. In worldly things, there may be some differences, but in regard to attaining highest goal of life, ultimate goal, there is no discrimination. Otherwise, why she would say like this? But if you will kindly explain to me, even though I am not very intelligent, I can understand it and thereby feel transcendental happiness. Yes. Here, Sai Maharaj telling, knowledge of the absolute truth is not very easily understood by ordinary, less intelligent men. Here he uses the word man. But if the spiritual master is kind enough to the disciple, however unintelligent the disciple may be, then by the divine grace of the spiritual master, everything is revealed. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur therefore says, Yasya Prasadat, by the mercy of the spiritual master, the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavat Prasada is revealed. Yes. Devahuti requested her great son to be merciful towards her because she was a less intelligent woman and also his mother. By the grace of Kapila Dev, it was quite possible for her to understand the absolute truth. Even though the subject matter is very difficult for ordinary persons, especially women. But there is no barrier, no obstacle. Bona fide Guru or Supreme Lord, they can make everyone understand and engage in the service of Krishna. Maitreya Uvach. So those who are in devotional path, they should not make any discriminations which may be there even in Varna Ashram Dharma. But even in Varna Ashram Dharma, they are not meant to put someone down. It is only described as a way how different people have different roles in contributing to the benefit of all. No one is less important than the other because everyone is working with their qualities for common good. Shudras, without Shudras, no society can be there. Or without Kshatriyas, all are important. All have their own contribution for the benefit of all. So women also, they have their contribution. So if there is any discrimination and negative discrimination, then you are the loser. You will lose the benefit of that person. It means there is some false ego is there. You cannot respect the qualities and role of others to feed your own ego. Then you will be the loser. You will not get the benefit of that person. Also in devotional, especially in devotional, should not disrespect anyone. All have their services to Supreme Lord. And in congregation also, it is, everyone has their role for the service of Krishna. If I criticize someone, then Krishna will not be happy, because that person is also engaged in the service of him. Without him, that service will not be complete. Like you remember when they were building a bridge from India to Sri Lanka for Ramachandra to cross, then there was one small water squirrel there. She also was serving. Hanuman and others, they brought big stones, hills, mountains, and they were throwing inside to build bridge. But this small squirrel, she went to the sea and wet her hair and went to the beach, sandy beach, and rolled in the beach, and then came back to the shore, and she threw that sand in the water for making bridge. Then, in order to give us teaching, Hanuman started to rebuke her. You are joking with us or what? What you are doing? You see, we are bringing mountains, you are joking here or what? With wrong attitude, he spoke disrespected, but that is to give us teaching. Then Ramachandra came and he caressed her on the head. That is why that white line is there. He was very satisfied. He said, that is her capacity. I am seeing the service, not externally how much someone is contributing like this, but I'm seeing the service. She's doing the best of her capacity. I'm satisfied with her. He's fully satisfied. And he said, even you see your mountains, they're all sinking down inside, but her sand is floating on the water. Then by that, they got idea that they should try to make floating bridge. Then they came to that idea that they wrote Ram name on the stone, and that stone was floating. So outwardly we may think that devotee or that woman, they're useless, and we are looking down upon them, or like household devotees, they are all useless. We are sannyasis, we are brahmacharis, they are all useless. The real devotee does not see like that. He sees how everyone is serving Krishna according to their role. But false ego is problem. To feed that false ego, one will do these things. Maitreya Uvach. Viditvartham kapilo maturitham jata sneho yatra tan vabhi jataha tattvam nayam yat pravadanti sankyam provacha vai bhakti vitana yogam. Sri Maitreya said, after hearing the statement of his mother, Kapila could understand her purpose, and he became compassionate towards her because of being born of her body. He described the Sankhya system of philosophy, which is a combination of devotional service and mystic realization, as received by disciplic succession. That was meant for her. everyone has to follow the process given by bona fide guru according to age, time, place, circumstance, person. So practically now in Kali Yuga we have to follow, we have to apply the process given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not this one as Kapil Bhagavan gave to Devahuti in the forum, but in principle we can accept. Means it is meant to please Krishna. But forum is not possible for us in Kali Yuga because this was before. I think this was in Satya Yuga. Swayambhuva Manu, yes. So it is not for us. Shri Bhagavan Uvach Devanam Guna Linganam Anushravika Karmanam Sattva Evaikamanaso Vritti Swabhaviki Tuya Animita Bhagavati Bhakti Sider Gariyasi. Lord Kapila said, the senses are symbolic representation of the demigods, and their natural inclination is to work under the direction of the Vedic injunctions. As the senses are representatives of the demigods, so the mind is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The mind's natural duty is to serve. When that service spirit is engaged in devotional service to the Personality of Godhead, without any motive, that is far better even than salvation. Jarayatyashu yakosham nigirnam analoyata. Bhakti, devotional service, dissolves the subtle body of the living entity without separate effort, just as fire in the stomach digests all that we eat. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in that song. Tava svalpa spurti pai, ugra tapa dure jai, linga bhanga hoy anayase. In the song of Jai Jai Harinam, Chidanandamritadam, Paratata Akshara Akar. Tava olpo spurti pai means, oh holy name, if one gets a glimpse of you, namabhas, tava svalpa spurti pai, a little revelation of you, ugra tapa durejai, heavy, ugra means very heavy miseries, tap, they will go away. Means one will get liberation from namabhas. Ugra tapa durejai, linga bhanga hoy anayase, and very easily anayase, this linga means subtle body will be destroyed. Linga bhanga hoy anayase will be destroyed. By little that devotion. But that devotion is free of offenses. That is why it is glimpse, abhas. Nama parat cannot. But immediately when comes to that stage, then liberation is automatic, without separate effort, like stomach, or that digest the food. Or we hear during Kartik in Gajendra Moksha, that example is there. One wants to cook something. His ultimate purpose is to cook rice. But in the process, automatically that fuel also will be burned to ashes. That is not your ultimate purpose, it automatically accompanying factor. So like that, by devotion, liberation is automatically gotten without separate effort. Although liberation is not the purpose, not the intention, but it automatically happens also, like here also it is said. Bhakti devotions dissolve the subtle body without any separate effort. But it has to be real bhakti, and also it takes time. According to degree of surrender, we get that Cheto Darpanamarjanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Naikatmatam me sprihayante kechin mat pada seva bhirata mat iha ye nyonyato bhagavata prasajya sabha jayante mama paurushani. A pure devotee who is attached to the activities of devotional service and who always engages in the service of my lotus feet never desires to become one with me. Such a devotee who is unflinchingly engaged always glorifies my pastimes and activities. That is superior to be engaged in Lila. Serve Krishna in Lila is far superior than that Brahmajyoti, merging into Brahmajyoti, where one, although does not become one literally, but he feels like that there is only one, that spirit, there is no difference, nothing. He feels like that, but that is not actually true. Still he is a part, but his realization is not like that. Because from there also he can, if gets association of devotee, he can be promoted to service of Krishna, or he can fall down into false material ego. So actual merging is never possible for jiva to stop existing as a jiva, that Swarup. Merging means feels like there is no other and only one. So such devotee who is engaged in the service of Krishna and Lila does not have desire to attain that, because that is like a hell for them. Although for certain it is very blissful, it is more blissful than any kind of material enjoyment. But for devotee, that kind of bliss of Brahmananda is like a hell. Why? Because there is no opportunity of service to Krishna. That they want, and by doing that, they are getting highest bliss. And they always sing the glories of Krishna and his pastimes. Pashyanti te me ruchirani amba santa prasanna vaktraruna lochanani rupani divyani vara pradani sakam vacham sprihaniyam vadanti. O my mother, my devotees always see the smiling face of my form with eyes like the rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me. Those who are on that level, they can do that. We can talk with devotees, not directly with Krishna on this platform. But if Krishna wants to say something, he can also do. You can also get message from him if he wants. But those who are pure devotees, they are always seeing his face, talking with him, playing with him. Tair darshani yava yaver udara vilasa hasek shitavama sukte hritatmano hrita pranamscha bhaktir anichato me gatim anvim prayunkte. Upon seeing the charming forms of the Lord, smiling and attractive, and hearing his very pleasing words, the pure devotee almost loses all other consciousness. His senses are freed from all other engagements, and he becomes absorbed in devotional service. Thus, in spite of his unwillingness, that is not his intention, he attains liberation without separate endeavor. Automatically it happens. Only this verse I will read. Atho vibhuti mama maya vinastam aishwaryam ashtangam anupravritam shriyam bhagavatim vasprihayanti badram parasya me te shnuvate tuloke. Thus, because he is completely absorbed in thought of me, the devotee does not desire even the highest benediction obtainable in the upper planetary systems, including Satyaloka, which is the highest of all higher planetary systems, that is Brahmaloka. He does not desire the 8 material perfections obtained from mystic yoga, Ashtasiddhi, nor does he desire to be elevated to the kingdom of God. He only wants to serve Krishna wherever he is. Yet, even without desiring them, the devotee enjoys, even in this life, all the offered benedictions. That is all available to pure devotee. For tomorrow, we will see what will happen.